Hi, now we're at day 10 of Grow Your Business and Beyond training. This particular topic is actually focused on habits, so in a bit more detail. So I know this whole course is about habits and instilling certain habits and systems into your business to help you see future growth. But this is sort of a little bit more of a meaty session about habits, okay? So something I'm really passionate about. It's something that really was my aha moment when I sort of about a year ago when I did some training. It was my real aha moment, and it kind of made me realise what I needed to do and put in place to make sure that I could then be able to do all of the things that I thought I felt I needed to do. So to be able to spend more time focusing on my team, to be able to support my team better, all those things that kind of I knew I wanted to do but I was just never managing to do, and it was all really about habits, because habits become systems. Okay, so I'm going to talk to you a little bit more about in detail about that today. So habits are really need to be a key part of your business. Okay, so if you're really wanting to take your business to the next level, if you are really wanting to grow your business, it is worth having habits. If you're somebody that is just happy to tick along, get active every month, that's okay. But habits are really good because it does help you to manage your time. So you might work full time or part time, or have children, or look after somebody, be a carer, or there's a whole host of different livelihoods out there, and habits will be quite an intrinsic part of being able to run your business at whatever level you want to be at. But if you really want to grow, habits are massively important, because obviously you want to make sure that you can manage to grow, build your own business, build your team, manage your teams, manage the work you do with your team, the support you offer them, and be able to continue to grow in all areas with effective systems in place. You need those effective systems to be able to keep doing that. So it's a real key part of your business, okay? And habits become systems. And when you have those things in place, when you have good new systems in place and you've worked on your habits, they will lead to your promotions. They will lead to incentives, earning incentives. They're a really big deal, and they will help you achieve all those things that you might only dream of or might think one day. You can have them. It's just about putting the work into getting yourself there, really. So habits are things that you need to implement daily. So we've got this 5x5 system that we're asking you to use as part of the course. This will help you with some of those habits. So make sure you're using this on a daily basis, or adapt some of these into the system you're already using. But these 5x5 systems are brilliant for really helping you embed these systems into your habits. And when you're writing them down, you're holding yourself accountable because you've actually done them. Okay? So you need to implement things daily, but it can be really hard to put a new habit into place. So you can do things like use rewards for yourself for doing them on a daily basis. So just as an example, do 10 minutes of follow-up a day. So I can go and drop the kids off to school, come home, I will spend 10 minutes, my first 10 minutes, sat at my desk working on my follow-up, okay? And making sure I've done all the follow-up I need to do. And until I've done that, I'm not going to start scrolling social media and checking out what posts have been put up and all the rest of it. I'm going to reward myself with the social media once I've done that 10 minutes of follow-up. Okay, so you're going to have to put yourself a reward in place for doing something so you can start embedding it as a system and a habit. Okay, so you just need to keep rewarding yourself until it becomes normal behaviour. But you might also need to break some bad habits. So we all quite often have bad habits, don't we? There are things that we think, how much time can we waste on social media? Or how much time can we sit wasting watching telly when it's just nonsense and we could be putting that time to good use? So there are some habits that you need to look at breaking. So you need to make those habits far more difficult for you to do them. So as an example, one of the examples in the book that I'm going to show you was that, if you're the kind of person that will come in, flick the telly on in the bedroom and lie on the bed for half an hour, was actually you should be cleaning or doing this or doing that. Take the telly out of the room, remove the telly, remove the problem, and then it won't happen, and then you'll have far more productive time because you haven't wasted it. Okay, so it's just about trying to break those habits that you don't need by making it far more difficult for you to do them. Okay, I've been reading this book And some of the trainings I've done before have been based on this book, and it is amazing. So this is called Atomic Habits by James Clear. He's actually got a lot of stuff on YouTube as well, but this book is amazing, and it is so hard to put down once you start reading it. It really is. When you start reading, like I started I went to read like the first chapter, and about 50 pages later I'm still struggling to put it down. It is really, really good book. It really hooks you in, and it makes a lot of sense. Okay, so I'm just going to talk about some of the things that he talks about really. So what he talks about is when you make a change, so you make a habit, you're trying to put a new habit into place. You may not see the results instantly, okay? It is about having that gradual progression. Progression can be slow, but if you keep at it, it will bring you results in the slightly longer term, okay? So just as an example, an easy example, is that if you decide you need to get fitter, okay? You decide you need to get fitter, and you join the gym, and you go every weekday in a week. So you've been 5 times, okay? But you look in the mirror and you're not seeing any results, are you? Because you haven't been doing it for long enough. So it can be easy then to just think, oh, I'm not going to bother anymore. But you're not going to get there unless you keep at it. You have to keep at it to see that progress happen when your body's ready for it, okay? Another example, you think you need to go on a diet, you need to eat healthier, you've got in the habit of eating really bad food, you need to eat healthy, so you've got to put that into a habit. But you might eat brilliantly for a week, really healthy, cut out all the rubbish, but on the scales at the end of the week it's not actually showing you much difference, and it can feel really easy to feel quite deflated by that, and we all do that, don't we? You can feel really deflated because you're not seeing the change that you wanted to see. But if you give up, you're never going to see that change. You have to keep at it. You keep at it so that the next week you might start to see a little bit more of a change. 4, 5, 6 weeks down the line, you're going to start seeing those changes. But you won't see those changes unless you stick at it and you make it a habit and keep it there. Okay, so you can see where I'm going with that. It has to be you have to really stick at them and keep those habits, trying to keep instilling those habits into place to see the change when it made it happen, okay? So one of the examples he gives in his book, and I really like this example. So this is what progress actually looks like. So imagine you're in a room and there is a tray in front of you with an ice cube on, and this room is really cold. Like you can see your breath, it is that cold. So the room is 25 degrees, okay? The room heats up slowly to 26 degrees. There's no change. The ice cube still sat there. 27 degrees, still no change. 28 degrees, still a block of ice. There's been no change whatsoever. So this room is heating up really, really slowly. Then we do 29 degrees, 30 degrees, 31 degrees, still no change. There's still this ice cube sat in front of you. But at 32 degrees, it begins to melt, okay? A 1 degree shift that has been the same change in all the changes before. It's always been a 1 degree shift, and it's no different to any change. But that change, that time, because it's been persistent, that change, that time unlocks a huge change in the ice cube, okay? So I hope you understand what I'm trying to say there. It can be slow, but you stick at it, the results will come, okay? So breakthrough moments are often a result of many previous actions, so like the ice cube. But they build up to potentially unleash quite a major change really. So you have to do all these small actions to see the big results in the long term. This pattern shows up everywhere though, and he gives some more examples. So just as an example, cancer. It can spend 80% of its life undetectable, but then it can take over the body in months. Okay, so you can kind of see where we're going. Bamboo, when you grow bamboo, you can barely see it, can barely be seen for the first 5 years because it builds extensive roots underground. I really like this analogy. Extensive roots underground. But then it will explode 90 feet into the air within the space of 6 weeks. But it spent all that time building those roots underground, so then it can explode above ground. Okay? So I think that's quite a powerful one. So your habits have to persist for long enough for them to become systems. And those systems are what are going to drive your business, but they need to be everyday things that become an everyday action, okay? So one of the key things that James Clear talks about in his book is that we quite often focus on goals. So we all set goals. It could be a focus on that next promotion. It can be a focus on being able to pay off a holiday. It can be a focus on achieving an incentive or whatever, okay? But we need to not focus on the goals, because goals, you can achieve it. It will be a short-term, momentary change, but it's not a long-term change. It's not going to bring you continued success. Does that make sense? So it's a momentary change. You might have achieved it and you're happy in that moment, but can you sustain it? So you've got your promotion. Can you sustain it? Can you make sure you're paid a title every month? You need to make sure that we're not focusing on the goals. We're actually focusing on the systems that we put in place instead, okay? So just as an example that he also gives in his book, your room's a mess, your bedroom's a complete tip, okay? And you finally summoned up some energy to clean it, and you've spent ages cleaning it, and it's sparkling, it is amazing, okay? You're loving it. But within 5 minutes, it's a mess again, because you haven't changed the habits that caused that to happen in the first place, okay? The sloppy habits that are in place that made that room a mess in the first place are still going to be there. So you've achieved your goal, but you haven't changed any of your systems. So you're going to go back to how it was. That makes sense? So achieving goals will only change your life in that moment, okay? And we need to actually change the results of, we need to change the results, not the goal, okay? We need to focus on what we need to do to get the long-term results is about changing the systems that cause those results in the first place, all right? So goals will restrict your happiness, is what he says. So when we focus so much on goals, what he says is that if you achieve that goal, then you are happy. You've got your goal, you focus on your goal, you achieve it, it brings you happiness. But what you're doing is delaying your happiness until you've achieved that goal. So if you're relying on your happiness coming when you reach director, but you don't reach director for 2 years, are you just not going to be happy for 2 years? That's not really the way it should be. And what if you don't achieve that goal? Are you never going to have happiness? Okay? You can't focus on something that your future self can enjoy. You need to be enjoying the process and enjoying the growth, okay? So one quote from the book that I really like is, you do not rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. I think that's really, really powerful, and I really like that. So I think that kind of shows really how important systems are. So he basically says in the book that if you're having trouble changing your habits, the problem isn't you, it's your system, okay? Bad habits will repeat themselves again and again, and not because you don't want to change, but it's because you've got the wrong system for that change. It's quite powerful, really, okay? So focusing on the overall system rather than a single goal is really what he wants to talk about in his book, and he calls them atomic habits, which is the title of the book. So an atomic habit refers to a tiny change, a marginal gain that sees 1% improvement. But atomic habits are not just any old habits, however small they are. They are little habits that are part of a larger system. And those, he kind of likens them to atoms that are the building blocks of molecules. Atomic habits are the building blocks of remarkable results, okay? So habits are like the atoms of our lives. Each one is a fundamental unit that contributes to your overall development. At first, those routines may seem insignificant, but soon they will build on each other, and they will fuel the bigger wins that will keep multiplying to a degree that far outweighs the cost of the investment you made in the first place, okay? So it's really, really important that you try and establish some regular practice and atomic habits to really help you with the growth of your business. It doesn't even have to just be business, it can be elements of your life. But atomic habits are where you're going to see the greatest change. You have to have those habits in place. I'm super passionate about it. You need to identify what habits that will lead to systems that you need to have in place. They might be small changes, they don't have to be massive. It's just things like this, you know, spending 10 minutes on your follow-up every day will help see you further results when those customers feel looked after and they feel like you're, you know, checking in on them. We've done follow-up on a different unit in this training. You know, it's about making sure that your customers feel like you're caring about them and you're just checking in with them and you really care about whether they're still enjoying their warmer or their diffuser or whatever it is they've bought, okay? Follow-up keeps customers coming back to you, and that helps the growth of your business. It will get people recommending people to you. So just that small system change can unlock a whole host of growth, okay? Extra PRV in the long run, referrals to you, Can you see where I'm going? So a small change can make a massive difference in your business. So things like your 10 minutes of personal development. Grab yourself some books, watch some stuff on YouTube channels for some of the other leaders out there. They don't even have to be Scentsy leaders. There's some really, really good network marketing people out there that do amazing training. 10 minutes focusing on you and your personal development a day. In the long run, when you put all that into practice, it's going to lead to huge results for you. Okay? So hopefully you can see where I'm going with it, and that you can see how amazing changing your habits can be for your business. Okay? And I'm not saying that I've done it all the right way. I'm not saying that I have everything I need in place. I believe that the whole habits side of things is something we're all going to need to continuously look at. So you can't do everything all at once either. So you're going to have to focus on certain areas of your business. So if you can't do 5 different new things all at once. So if focusing on a system for follow-up and getting that in place and embedded is the most important thing to you right now, then you focus on that right now. And then once you've got that in place and it's a system and it's an everyday thing that you're doing, then you can focus on something else that you want to have a look at and change. So is that something to do with your time management? Is it about switching your day around so that you get more focused time on sort of scheduling your posts and stuff like that, to make sure they don't, like, I can be the world's worst at not scheduling and stuff like that and think, oh, I'll just put stuff throughout the day. And then if I get busy, I know that I suddenly think, God, I've not put anything up in my group for hours. You know, I've not really put anything meaningful. I've not done a review today. So for me, I know that I need to work on my scheduling systems, because that's going to really help me to make sure that I've got all of my social media covered. If I do get busy and I haven't got that chance to pop that odd post in there, I can still pop those odd posts in there as they come up, and if I think of something or I'm using something and I want to show it. But at least for me, having those things scheduled means that I have got those things in place. I'm really find it really hard to kind of get in the habit of using Instagram. I've got an Instagram account and I go through phases, but when I'm busy, it's the thing that drops for me. So again, I need to get back into the scheduling using the apps that I can access to schedule in advance for that, to make sure that happens. I need a new system that makes me sit down for 10-20 minutes each evening and think in advance about the things that I might want to talk about that day. But I can use this system to help me plan for that. You can use this as a planner. So I can put here what I plan to focus on. Even if I've scheduled it in advance, I can still plot them in here. I'm going to do a review on different products every day. I can make sure they're scheduled in advance. I don't have to trying to remember to do it every day. That's a habit I need to get into. Okay, so habits are massive, and I would highly recommend you all reading this book. It really, really is amazing. There are some other books on habits that I've not read, but this one speaks to me. It really, really speaks to me, and the people in my team that have read it so far are saying the same. It is amazing. So definitely check that out if you're an avid reader and you really, really want to make changes in your business. It really, really will help you. So there isn't a specific task for after this session. When we ran this as a course, we ran it as a 2-week course for our team. Natalie and I did. What we did was we asked them to submit their 5x5 systems to us. So all I'm going to ask you to do is go and revisit these. Make sure you are using them properly. Make sure that you are filling each box and you're putting thought and you're intentional with all the things that you're doing, and it's not just a tick box exercise. I'd really like you to go and review what you've done so far with these and ask yourself really whether what you're doing has been meaningful, and have you really put a lot of thought into it, okay? And if you haven't, think about what you can do to make changes so that you can make it more meaningful and intentional, okay? You don't just want to be sticking different products up there and saying, look at this gorgeous warmer at 61 quid. You know, you want to be giving some real reviews of it. Focus on the details. You know, focus on the details of that warmer. Why do you love it so much? Why are you so passionate about it? If it's a product you're not so passionate about, it doesn't matter. Still focus on the details. You know, still make a big deal of how special that warmer is, because to somebody else it will be special. Okay, you need to pretend you do love it. So make it all intentional and meaningful. Okay, so I really hope that was helpful. It's my favourite unit of this this whole course, because I really, really do feel it was passionate. I'm really passionate about it. It was my aha moment. I just hope that for some of you it will be for you guys as well. Thanks everyone, bye.